I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today we're here at the Los Angeles Auto Show checking out the brand new 4th generation Mazda 3. This absolutely critical vehicle for Japanese brand Mazda will be coming to Australia next year in its well-known sedan and hatchback forms. This one here is the hatch, which is now radically differentiated from the sedan in that this really is being turned into the emotive body style by Mazda's designers. There's very, very few character lines and edges. Instead, designers are relying on light and scenery to give the vehicle some character in profile. I, for one, reckon it looks absolutely stunning, especially here in Soul Red Crystal, which remains a real hero color, though it will be joined by a new color called Polymetal Grey, which looks particularly stunning over a new, exclusive to the hatch, burgundy leather interior. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to jump inside. We're also going to check out the sedan of the Mazda 3 and talk about some first impressions before leading into more content next year on the brand new Mazda 3. The alternative to the really emotive hatchback continues to be the Mazda 3 sedan, which now adopts its own distinctive persona as a more elegant design, what Mazda are calling the more dignified design of the two. I actually think both are pretty attractive, but I reckon the sedan's got something going for it. It's quite a bit longer than the outgoing version, and it gets this really distinctive deck lid with these awesome quad tail lights here at the back, which I actually reckon look pretty cool. Now this one's finished in machine grey, popular colour of the Mazda range currently. You can't get the polymetal grey on the sedan, but I reckon that's not much of a problem when it looks this good. Now, I'm not allowed to sit in the interior of the new Mazda 3 just yet, but we can do everything but. So what you can see in here is that the design direction of the 3's cabin has taken a pretty big step into the future. The current car didn't age that badly in terms of material quality, but you could definitely tell it was getting on in years in the cabin. That's not the case with the 4th generation vehicle, which now adopts a distinctly European sort of character to a very broad dashboard. The material quality remains really nice. Beautiful creamy leather steering wheel, heaps and heaps of soft touch material. Down here where your leg rests, up here on the dash, this broad leather-like surface on the breadth of the high-spec models, and also in the lovely leather that is used on the seats. Now, lower-end vehicles will continue to get cloth seats in actually a hybrid grey and beige colour, which will be coming next year, but higher-spec cars get leather, a choice between black and pure white in the sedan, and the hatch also gets an exclusive burgundy leather colour option. Now, a big step up occurs with the infotainment, which in the center here now is an 8.8-inch widescreen, replacing a 7-inch, less widescreen in the outgoing vehicle. But importantly, MZD Connect finally gets a software update. It now looks way nicer. The rotary controller is a lot bigger. It's much more Audi-like now. The fonts and presentation of the system are all different, which is really cool. And we're also told it'll be well matched to the fonts and the look of the partially digital gauge cluster in front of this steering wheel, which also gets a new design with nicer, more premium feeling buttons. There's also been some ergonomic improvements. Stuff like under-thigh angle adjustment for the seat is now standard. The center console has actually been moved forward and it's higher, which means that there's less of a reach between the wheel and the gear shifter, no matter whether you go for an auto or a manual model. Plus, practicality still looks good. There's a big central bin in the center here with a USB port, large cup holders ahead of the shifter, decent sized door bins as well. And one other thing to note is that, of course, given that this is a new Mazda, stuff like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are now standard, which is something that filtered through in the Australian market for the rest of the range in the last 6 weeks or so. Now, the back seat of the Mazda 3 actually impresses because it goes the other way compared to most vehicles in this segment, which tend to ditch all of the nice materials used up front in favor of hard plastic. Now, in the Mazda 3, you actually get a full soft touch rear door, which is really nice to see. And it also looks like space in the back is going to be pretty good. Now, this is the sedan, so the roofline continues pretty straight. Headroom's probably going to be a little bit tighter in the hatchback, but we'll have to wait until we can actually interact with the car in a little bit more detail. Now, legroom looks pretty good in this longer sedan as well. Once again, the pure white leather color really coming up nicely here. Now, one concern I've got is that I can't see any air vents here in the back of this car. Whether or not that'll change for Australia, we don't know, but I would say probably not. That's a bit of a misstep. You do get amenities like a fold-down armrest here, though there aren't any powered USB ports that I can find in the back of this thing, although you do get decent sized door bins at least. So that's a first look at the new 4th gen Mazda 3, less than 24 hours after the global debut of this vehicle here in Los Angeles. A pretty stunning looking vehicle in hatch form, subtle but I reckon really attractive as a sedan, with a brilliant new interior and also some really interesting stuff that's going to be going on under this bonnet in the form of supercharged Skyactiv X petrol engines. But there'll be more to talk about with the dynamics of this vehicle early next year, and you'll be able to read and see everything on the new Mazda 3 on Chasing Cars. So make sure to hit subscribe and let me know all your thoughts on this new car down in the comments.